Hello everyone, I'm Shorty from Iron Resurrection, and if you ain't watching Rides Done Right, you ain't watching shit.
I'm Dave Kindig, and you're watching Bitchin' Rides Done Right.
Hello friends. Before I start, be aware that I have photos, links, prices, and more on all this stuff hosted on my website, and you can find a link to my site down in the details section of this video. As I switch or add anything to this car, the website will show those updates. Now let's get started. I've been blessed to have C4, C5, and C6 Corvettes. And having them off and on throughout my life isn't a midlife crisis, it's more like a throughout life crisis. When I got my Camaro as my last cool car, my wife asked me if I was sure I wasn't going to have to sell it for a Corvette. I said, no way, this thing is sweet. I was fine seeing photos of C7 Stingrays, but when I saw photos of the Grand Sport, I knew I needed to sell the Camaro and some other toys to get one. I knew all the parameters I wanted, so I checked with my brother, who has been a premier Corvette seller for over 30 years, when I located a one-owner that was just traded in at the largest Chevrolet dealership in Montana. So with it being my anniversary weekend, I opted to fly from Oregon to Montana and drive it back to make some nice memories with my wife. We rolled in early and they had the car sitting on the showroom of their Luxury Motors building. It had just been serviced and completely checked to make sure everything was 100% and we were ready for the trip home. As we left the dealership, my wife read through the manuals to determine how to use the performance data recorder, and we got some nice video on the way home that included going over the Rocky Mountains. Most people living in the Northwest are also aware that the gorge offers some great views as well. Of course, when I got home, I was ready to start getting accessories. I knew I wanted to get a more aggressive look, so the first thing I ordered was the Stage 2 rear spoiler, which raises the height of the rear spoiler with taller winglets. I replaced the plain front spoiler and fender flares with a Stage 3 front spoiler and fender flares in Carbon Flash to match all of the other Carbon Flash already on the car. The Grand Sport racing cars ran stripes and I liked the way they looked, so I installed the factory stripes in Carbon Flash to continue that black and white theme. JL Audio engineered a 2-sub box enclosure optimized specifically for the C7. The box originally comes with a carpet skin, but to make mine more unique, I had it color matched in Arctic White. The OEM side markers are okay, but I like the full LED option with clear lenses to only stand out when they're on. Changing the badges from the original chrome to the optional black helped me keep my black and white theme going. I think the front and rear tow hooks are essential to have in case I run into problems while out and about, so it's nice to have them already mounted in case I would need to use them. The original owner installed a complete catback Corsa system, which also replaced the OEM Y-pipe, which saved me the expense and looks and sounds great. Under the hood, the only performance change I made was adding a much larger filter and intake system to improve the breathing. None of the intake or exhaust modifications caused any error codes, and I did notice improvements with throttle response and sound under acceleration. Under the hood seemed to lack the excitement of the rest of the car, and the decals I initially added seemed to miss the mark. I chose AMT Custom Designs to execute my vision of a more complete and clean look. On the Plenum, I designed a graphic that they clear-coated over the top of the black hydrocarbon fiber base. The fuel rails framed the Plenum with color-matching Arctic White, and they clear-coated Grand Sport text with stripes in Carbon Flash. The color-matching coil covers with Carbon Flash stripes helped make the engine look complete. On each side of the engine, I opted again for black hydrocarbon fiber. They added dual Carbon Flash stripes to their Gen 2 Brake Master cylinder cover. And on the opposite side, I created a graphic for the Fusebox cover. Above the Fusebox cover, I chose a Carbon Flash Sump cover and carried that theme over to both the Alternator cover and the Brake ECM cover. Around the engine, I wanted color matching Arctic White, so I went with upper heat extractor, and then to match went with the lower heat extractor and selected their Corvette text in Carbon Flash. To complete the engine surround, I chose color matching inner fender covers and then finished the area off with their custom cap covers. I designed a graphic for the door sills that I thought OEM should have done. I was thrilled to see the bumper filler and exhaust trim options they had, knowing this would help make my car look different than others, but still like it could have been an OEM option. We've been to enough car shows to know that if I ever showed this car, I would want to try to deter onlookers from trying to get inside. So I designed graphics for both the door and the hood props. And God forbid that a big gust of wind could come up, but if it does, these props should prevent any sudden closures or extension stresses. I added some carbon fiber bits throughout the interior and white paddles. Please plan to check back to see latest updates that may include things like aftermarket wheels and tires, a steering wheel, and more. It's hard to describe the great feeling when I see it sitting in my garage. It's one of many blessings that I thank God for. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.